Hello, 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 Lay. I'm so excited to be doing this with you today. I feel honored that you are here talking with me and answering questions if people have questions. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself and who is with you today?
Okay, first of all, I'm honored to be here too. This is not only my pleasure in life, but this is what I am here to do, is to bring through these messages, whatever happens to come out. And I never pre-plan anything. I don't practice it, nothing. Whatever comes out is what is supposed to come out at this time. And so it's the wisdom keepers, of which there are seven main ones. So I've been told by other seers. And I know who most of them are. They don't necessarily have names, but I have places where they came from. I do have a name on one of them, and that's Sachet, who is the daughter of Thoth. And she wanted us to know that she is here with us at this time. She wanted her name out there to give us the credibility we needed for the messages that she brings through.
So tell us, who is Seshat
Sashat
for
is the
people that don't
daughter
know?
of Thoth. Thoth
Hmm.
is the builder of the pyramids.
Hmm.
And everybody thinks that Thoth is the one who put all the inscriptions and petroglyphs and everything on the bricks and everything that make up the pyramids. This is not true. She is the one who did all of that. Her name actually means female scribe, and she was his daughter in that particular lifetime. And the whole point of that is that she had the knowledge and the ability to write what needed to be written on those walls.
Right. So,
And
and
she
we
had the
know,
availability of being the daughter of Thoth, who was the builder.
right. So it's not that Toth couldn't have done all of those things, but he didn't. So we're setting the record straight, not to minimize him and his being. And it feels very much to me like Seshat is not here out of ego, right? That's our frame of reference. She's not here saying, well, I did it, like, kids on a schoolyard or whatever. So, right. Can you explain, or can she explain, why is this important right now that we know this?
Well, first of all, because Thoth, her father, was extremely busy building pyramids all over the world. It wasn't like he had time to sit there and do all of this writing, but he had this extremely intelligent, very well trained and wise daughter who could easily make all of do all of the writing so that he would have more time to do what he needed to do, which was build the pyramids.
Mm.
And so she's part of her message right now is especially for women, because women have been marginalized for a very long time. And she would say even she was marginalized by giving all of the credit to Thoth. Even though it's not that he doesn't deserve credit, he deserves the
Right.
credit for doing what he did, but he couldn't do it all alone. He needed help. He didn't actually put every brick in place on the pyramids by himself. He
Right.
had helpers, one of
Right.
which was her, and she is the one who did the writing on the walls. He
Mhm.
still is and will always be the pyramid builder, the person who put in the sighting as to where exactly it should be, how it should be, what direction everything should be. He did all of that. But he was doing this all over the world and he needed help. And so she was the helper that he needed for writing on the walls.
Yes. And how many pyramids are there in the world that we don't know about? Like, I'm not looking for an exact number, but I'm saying, there must be so many.
There are many. and she's not going to give us a number. She's the what's coming through her from her right now is you will find them as is befitting of the knowledge that you need to have when you need to have it. There are many that lots of people or some people or even a few people know about that has been pushed, shall we say, under the carpet because people are not ready to understand how widespread the pyramids were and the purpose for them being where they were in exactly the spots they were in the directions they were and how interconnected all of that is with the galactic and the universal placement of everything. You don't just go and say, okay, I'm going to build a pyramid here. Thoth had a lot of work to do to put them in just the right place, in just the right way. And he needed to be having enough time to do that, to build all of these. So, and he had lots of helpers to do it, different helpers in each place who were also learning the skills of how to do this. And so he was teaching as well as building at the same time. And as for how many there are so many. There are just so many. And she's not going to give us a number.
Right. But the point, my point was, we haven't even, we're so in awe of the three great pyramids and then Chichen Itza and Stonehenge. And most recently, I am in awe of the Gothic cathedrals and talking about the sacred geometry in them and how they were like, there's just so much that I'm in awe of. And there's more that we don't
and
know.
there really is. And she wants to go on about this a little bit. What we see as pyramids, and they don't necessarily, as they were built in certain societies that may have had different kinds of structures that they wanted built. So, for instance, some of the more recently discovered pyramids would be like an Angkor Wat it doesn't matter.
Can't help you. I was going to say, I'm like, I don't know about that one.
It's in Cambodia.
Okay.
But Angkor Wat was only discovered in the last century. And they had to dig through the forest and the ground, everything that was covering it just to even find it. And this is going to be common in many places. Some of the places where there are pyramids, in whatever form, style, fashion they built them, are going to be in places that are not yet discoverable. Maybe they are, there's lots of different reasons for this. They may be under a lot of ice, or they may be in places where they have been discovered, but that the powers that be are not ready to let it be known yet. And there are many of these. Those places, for the safety of the people who may be involved with them, are not going to be named at this point in time, but they are there.
Right.
And some people do know about them.
So when I was in the cathedrals in the past couple of weeks, I mean, I've been in churches and I've been in I've been in cathedrals before, probably even Gothic cathedrals. Didn't appreciate them at all, right? Was probably annoyed that I was in a church on vacation with my parents. But this time I thought, I'm going to go in, I'm going to feel the energy. And these to me were healing centers. They were so much more than churches. And I feel like the pyramids were even more than those. Like, how many of us have been in the pyramids? Not many, but we could go to a Gothic cathedral maybe and at least get a little piece of how that feels, like dipping your toe into the ocean, maybe. Would you say that? Like,
it can be. About some of many of the Gothic cathedrals were not necessarily built under the energy that they needed to be built in. They may have been placed in the right place, but that might have been, they may not have actually realized that that's what they were doing, how they were doing it. At that point in time, the religious structure that was building them was just trying to put up something to say, see how good we are. It was very egoic to build those, and very expensive, not only in terms of money and the stuff that had to go into it, but also in the lives lost in doing it. When Thoth was building his, there was none of that. There was a whole different reason, which was to get the information that they knew or had known, because they knew that their civilization was falling, and to put it in a place where when we were ready for it, which we are now, that we could see them for what they really are, and we could understand the messages that are put there, not just in the writing, but in the energy and the way the energy comes through to it. And all of this knowledge came from those before even the Thoth, and that was more like back in Lemur, what people now call Lemuria, which is not Lemuria, it's Mu. But from those people and from the Atlanteans, and the wisdom that's been coming down in humanity for so long, which we are now ready to grasp and take back our power, our freedom, because we've been enslaved by all of the thoughts of the power structures for so long. But now it's time to let all of that go and to actually build within us, within humans, within the society, the world that it could be and needs to be and will be. And that's the messages that are on those walls, but they're not just there. These messages are coming through in so many ways to meet people wherever they are at.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways of getting them. It's much like the religions right now. All the religions have different belief systems, but if one looks at the kernels of what the actual the goodness of the leader, whomever it happened to have been, the messages all point to the same direction. They may have their own flavor of doing so, but they're pointing at the same direction. That's what we're going to find in the pyramids, not just in Egypt, but the pyramids all over the world. And it's going to be the same kernels that we're going to be finding on each of these everywhere.
Beautiful. And people call it the divine feminine. I think that you are saying that women have really been marginalized, and Seishat is here with us now, ready to speak, because it is time for us to, take our power back, if you will. The divine feminine is not better or worse than the masculine. And that took me a very long time to get rid of my judgments about that. Like, we each have a place, and getting rid of the anger, the resentment, the jealousy, all of that, frustration, big one, right? What does Seishat have to say about that? How do we women take our power back in a pure way to let it be balanced without judgment?
It's actually very easy. You make a choice. But the choice is, by making the choice, I am going to live in freedom, or I'm going to live free. It means that one has to allow that whatever one considers one's foundation, which all of the foundations are only sand. they're not rock, they're not solid, they are just sand and they move. And if you aren't ready to let go of that foundation in whatever fashion it could be, then you're
Mhm.
going to have a lot of difficulty in taking your power back. It's akin to, and I know this is triggering for people, but this is kind of how it's coming through. It's akin
Okay.
to the slaves taking back their freedom, because we've
Mhm.
all been enslaved by the patriarchy, if you will, the powers that
Yeah.
be, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
for so very, very long, for thousands and thousands of years. And
Yep.
now to take back our freedom and allow each of us to have and understand that each of us does have our own power, that
Mhm.
I do not give my power away to you. You do not give your power away to me. I do not ask you to give me your power, and you do not ask me to give my power to you. When this world comes about, when this is the way that everybody is
Mhm.
functioning,
Yep.
then all of this stuff that's going on all around us right now doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. When everyone has what they need because they have their own power, they have their equal access to all, everything,
Mhm.
then nobody has any needs. Nobody is
Yeah.
more
There is
wanting.
no power over.
And you have your power, and I have my power, and everybody has their own power.
Mm.
All of this other stuff doesn't happen anymore. It just
Right.
disappears. It's not necessary, and it can go away.
Mhm.
And that's when the, as you say, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, which everyone has in them in equal
Yeah.
amounts,
Yeah.
that's when the two come together and balance.
And isn't that what all of the religions were saying initially?
This is what the starters or the original teachers, because most of the original teachers didn't actually go out and set out to have a religion started after them, but they were
Right.
teachers. And most of the teachers didn't want to have anything else. They wanted to have this equilibrium, if you will. And that is the kernel, the message in all of them. And when you have the equilibrium of both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you have the divine love.
Yes.
And it's in everyone equally.
Yes. Yes. Then we can start feeling the oneness that we talk about. But I think,
There
the
are many
masculine
who
and feminine.
there are many who are
Go ahead.
feeling the divine oneness right now. There are many,
Yeah.
many who are feeling it. Some are practicing, and that's going
Yeah.
to be in air quotes. Uh, they're
Yeah.
practicing to feel it more. But there are
Yeah.
many out there who feel it always, although it may not always be on the what you would call the front burner. It may be on the quote back burner sometimes
Mhm.
when it needs to be, so that you can function in this current world. However, there will come a time when it's on the front burner for everyone all the time.
Right. So this morning I got a message about my guides like to talk in threes. Let me know that it's them and not just me. And they said eclipses, then an earthquake, then ethereal lights. All of these three things, we are being divinely guided. So we had the eclipses, and then I'm in New England. We had an earthquake up here. Like, when is the last time that happened? I don't know, and that big. And then we're seeing the northern lights in as far down as Florida and Texas. I'm in Massachusetts. It was like brilliant.
Yeah,
What are
they
these?
actually those lights, they were seen as far south as Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, and
It's
they're
wild.
they're still on for tonight. but it's the strongest um, uh, geomagnetic storm in over 20 years, and it doesn't quite rank up there. And in fact, it's not really close even to the Carrington event,
Mhm.
but it is very, very strong. And you're right; those lights are part of the three that they gave you.
Yeah. Yeah. They said ethereal lights. They didn't call them northern lights. They said ethereal lights, and for us to really pay attention and um, to know also it's not just a light show, right? Like everyone is paying attention, or not everyone, but lots of people are paying attention because it's so unusual and so beautiful. But also to know like these are energies coming to us, like gifting us with change, with improvements, shall we say, upgrades, DNA activations, whatever you want to say. What does say shot say
And most of
about
these
that?
are all over the world. Like the eclipse was energy. The eclipse was the the energy of the surrounding shield of the earth breaking open and allowing all of that energy to come through, which it was
Mm,
it was shockingly amazing, but it was there to help push us in a way that we and a lot of us felt this as the energy of the eclipse came through. It was pushing down through us, cleaning every cell in our bodies and pushing out everything that was no longer necessary into the Mother Earth, who then composts it back to New Earth energy. So you've got this cycle of New Earth energy and
mm,
universal energy all coming to at the same time and circling. And that was the grace and the joy of the eclipse, even for people who don't necessarily see things beyond the way that they are used to.
right.
Almost all of the people who saw it felt that in some form or fashion, and it
Yeah, everyone
moved
is talking about
needles
these things.
forward.
Yeah, I mean, mainstream people are talking about this. When I was telling my kids and family about, I'm like, this weekend there are going to be these geomagnetic storms and whatever. I was like, oh, I think they're going to look at me and go, Mom, it's Mother's Day weekend. Like, just can you chill out, chill out on that stuff? And you know, I, these are coming to pass. Everyone is talking about it now. It's not just Mom saying it; it's being legitimized. That these events are real. They are unusual. Things are happening. Things are
And so
happening.
far, they've been in fairly safe ways. And the Carrington event
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
some damage. If we had that now,
Mhm.
it would do a whole lot more damage. We've got all the satellites up there, and all kinds of things. But
Yeah.
when the eclipse happened, it was safe. People didn't. The energy flowed in, but
Mhm.
it was safe. In the earthquake, it wasn't. It was big for all of you, but it wasn't really. It wasn't. Nobody got hurt. Then you have these
Right.
ethereal
It's a
lights.
miracle. Yeah.
Yeah, the ethereal lights.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting hurt, even though it's a huge magnetic storm.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting hurt. It's just the energies flowing in, helping us to cleanse every cell. Again, I know that's a repeat, Pete, but when you
Mhm.
see how cleansing every cell in your body also is part of healing and getting rid of the old ways so we can allow the new ways in to be
Yeah.
who we are meant to be and who we are getting back to being, then you understand so much more about why it's so important to understand that.
Yeah. I know it does sound really good. Like the eclipse came in and washed us spleen and uh, but those are hard releases as well. You know, it's they aren't smooth. Like if only we could cleanse our energetic bodies just by looking at the light, that would that would be great. But finally, I've come to a place where I can say, all right, I am feeling X, Y, and Z type of uncomfortable, and say, this is, I'm supposed to be transmuting this. I am supposed to be letting go of this now. This doesn't serve me anymore. And that is really hard. And I've been doing it for a long time and help other people do it. You know, it's real. It's real. These are real experiences that are still kind of, or not kind of, but they are embodied. So I guess I just wanted to put that out for people when we say, oh, it released everything. Like, it's not exactly that magic. Oh, I think.
The energy is there for us to do it if we wish to. If we choose not to, because we still have our free will, then
Yeah.
it's not, you might feel the energy, but it's not going to make as much difference for you if you don't allow it to, if you don't participate in it. But if you do choose that, you are going to transform.
Right. Okay. So there's a choice for some of us that understands like things are happening, things are changing, this is an opportunity for us, let's grab onto it, right? What about the people who are just going and seeing the solstice or paying attention to it with their picnic and it's kind of fun and seeing these lights and they're saying, oh, all these cool things are happening. What is happening to them?
They still have a choice to make, and
Mm-hmm.
they can at any time choose either way. If they continue to hold on to the old way, which didn't serve them, doesn't serve anyone, and never has, even the people who in power who created the structures, it didn't
Mm-hmm.
serve them. And you can see this in your current society. If you look around at the people who are in those positions, it's not serving them, even though they are, quote, benefiting from it. It doesn't serve them.
I think there are a
And
lot
the
of
reason
people
it
in
doesn't,
society
and the
that
reason it
that
doesn't
don't think
serve
that.
them, and the reason it doesn't serve them is because they are still stuck in the old ways and they are not allowing it to serve them. They can change at any time, and they can, and some of them are taking teeny tiny baby steps while the rest of you are either walking or running. And some of you
Yeah,
are moving faster than that. But some of
yeah,
you are just so scared, just so scared. And it's sad to see them be that afraid of what is
yeah,
so good and what can be so great for them. But if they continue that, there's a choice. And this sounds really harsh. I know that. Sink or swim. You know, if you choose not to move on and transform into the new world, you're going to go away. Though, like the dinosaurs went away. And that's your
mm,
choice. If you just are so not willing to give up your fear, then you're hanging on to it. That's your
mm,
choice. No one is going to take that choice away from you,
yeah,
but it's still your choice. You will see many now who are leaving the planet in whatever form or fashion they are leaving it. And some of those, maybe many of those,
yeah,
did not want to change. And so they are leaving the planet. And that's their choice. Will they come back again and be no longer in that fear? Who
mhm,
knows? They have to choose that too.
mm,
It's all about, you were all created. Everyone was created. Everything was created of the
mhm,
same energy and given the same free will.
right. What do you say to the people that say people have been saying that for centuries? Why now? What makes you think you know it now? I mean, you've got the wisdom keepers of lost civilizations. I think if we can't ask you, who can we ask?
And really, though it comes through me, everything that has been coming out of my mouth has been from them. Okay. So it's not like there's a separation between us. Why now? Why now is because this is the time. This is whether whatever method you're using to do it, whether you're using uh, what people will call the ancient calendar, which was based on the rhythms of nature and the planets and everything, or whether you're using any other method
Mm-hmm.
right now, because we have the tech that we do have, as long as we protect that tech and keep it free, we have an abundance of methods available to us that have never been available to people before. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of that is that there is no coincidence. This is not just happening now. This has been planned for many thousands of years, many cycles, which if you look at the old calendars, the entire life cycle, well, the entire cycle of the earth goes in 24,000 year increments. This is the end
Right.
of the last 24,000 year increment and moving into the new increment. And that's why this is the time. This is the time that we have the technology that we do. It's no coincidence that it came in the last 100 years, and basically even less than that. But it started coming in just over 100 years ago in linear time.
Mm-hmm.
That's no coincidence. Though the early people who were bringing that technology in were frequently not seen for what they were giving.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
people are seeing now what they gave, and that how it was the foundation for moving
Mm-hmm.
forward now.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be very careful with that because the technology we have can be usurped by the power structures if we people allow it. If we don't allow it, if we choose to keep it free, then it will continue to be something that is a blessing for people. But it
Mm-hmm.
needs to be mixed with not just the technology of now, but the
Mm-hmm.
technology of the past. For instance, in healing and
Mm-hmm.
healthcare,
Yeah.
it all melds together. Again, like the divine masculine and divine feminine, past health, current health. Everything works together as a
Mm-hmm.
whole.
Why did Toth build the pyramids? Speaking of health, I referred to them as like health centers, so much more than that energy. But what was the purpose?
As many of you now know, or at least have heard about, whether you can understand it fully or know it, which there's a big difference there. They're energy centers. They each and every
Okay.
one of
Yes.
them is an energy center.
Yes.
It's bringing in the energy that you need right now to be
Yeah.
able to make this transformation so that we can build the world. All of us together, past, present, and future, can build together the world that it can be, where all of you live together. Each of you has your unique purpose and your unique abilities, but each
Mm-hmm.
of you lives together in a harmonious whole, and each and every one of you lives in bliss. This is the
Wow.
heaven on earth for which it was created. And
Mm-hmm.
you, all of you, get to create that with all of the wisdom from the past, from all of the energy that's being brought in from the universe now. This is the world you get to create. This is an amazing time to be here.
Yeah. And apparently we signed up to be here.
Yes.
Apparently there's a waiting list or was a waiting list. It's
Yes.
we have to remind ourselves of that. I have to remind myself of that sometimes,
Each and every one of you won the lottery.
Yeah. This is very interesting. So the pyramids were, I called them healing centers. You call them energy centers. To me, they're like symbiotic, right? We're all energy. Everything is energy, but we're getting infused with the energy that we need to create.
And if you choose to, you
Mhm.
can use that energy to heal. In the future, you won't need to heal. Right now, you do. There's a lot, thousands and thousands and thousands of years of,
Yeah.
of not being able to be who you needed to be. But you needed all of that as the foundation to learn. The point of coming into form, making form, was that if one happens to be the divine creative energy, one cannot feel what it's like not to be loved. But
Yeah.
the creator wanted to be able to understand what it must feel like to feel that.
Right.
And so the worlds were created,
Mhm.
and it allowed various points of view, many points of view, to find out from any very point of view how painful fear is. Because there's only two, there's only fear and love. And if you could feel fear in all this multitude of ways, then you could move back to and transform to actually coming back and choosing to come back to love, because there's only the two.
Right.
But
Going full
as it
circle.
is right now, you have felt the fear in every way possible over these millennia.
Yeah.
You don't need fear anymore. You can let it go. It has served its purpose.
Mhm.
And hanging on to it at this point only hurts you more. You can let it go, and you can now live without the fear and move into the new world, which we've already pictured.
Right. But we're in the middle of it. We're in the in between. Some people say, we're already in the new world, or we're already love and bliss, or whatever. Well, that's not quite exactly. I think that we are at this junction point where every day I am learning more things. I am transmuting more things. I am releasing more things. I am asking for guidance, hope, strength, and courage, like all of those things. But getting through and being the bridge for myself and those around me. What do you say about that? How do we do that? What's the advice for that?
You are still moving through it. This is
Mhm.
true. But at the same point in time, we have the ascended masters, as you would call them, of the past, and even in the current. But these ascended masters, even they are not living in pure bliss all the time. It has levels. You are here to have an experience, and an experience is not going to be just one way. An experience is going to be an experience. And so as you have the experiences, you are getting the ability, what this time right now is seeing, does this serve me? Does this serve all? Does this serve? How does this serve? If it doesn't serve, can it be changed to serve, or does it need to be let go? And so, yes, you are in a changing time right now. But in order to get to the other, what's the world to come,
Mm-hmm.
you need a picture to be able to say, that's where I want to go. That's not where I want to go. And to be able to see everything that will serve it, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
serve it. And that's what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it feels kind of like you're practicing higher, higher,
Yeah.
until you no longer need to have the steps, until you can just walk in the world.
Mm. Yeah, right now it feels like I'm stepping in, not walking. But stepping in is a very big step. Haha. And it is one step at a time. So my
Absolutely.
friend Rose is here. She says, "Hi, ladies."
And you're
And
choosing each
she's
step.
the one. We're choosing each step. Yeah, we really are creating our reality. We are creating our reality. So I wanted to tell you my friend Rose is here, and she's the one who said that she saw the beings around you in our last video. And she says, "Hi, ladies." So I love
Hi, Rose.
everything that you have talked about tonight. I know as we wrap up, I really want to make sure that you and the Wisdom Keepers have the opportunity to say anything more that you want to say before my dogs. What do we need to know?
We have appreciated this opportunity to address things that people may not be able to find elsewhere, or maybe to bring people to see these as a beginning point, or even as a central point somewhere along the way. We are just very appreciative to have the ability, to be given the possibility of getting the message out to more people. The more people that get to hear the message, the closer you all are to the new world.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. I honor you. I honor you. I honor you. And I really feel blessed to be able to spend this much time with you all today. So if we can do this again, I would love to do this again. I always have
It
more
would be our
questions.
honor.
Thank you so much, Lay, and I will put your information down below so people can find you.
Thank you.